Welcome to the Sage CRM Sales Accreditation course. You are currently viewing Sage CRM Sales Accreditation Module 1. It's designed for marketing, sales, and implementation employees. This is designed for candidates looking to gain knowledge of the Sage CRM proposition, its applicability to functional roles within a typical business, and an ability to demonstrate the product to meet typical business needs. There are 4 modules at this level: understanding and articulating the Sage CRM proposition, understanding and profiling a prospect, demonstrating and usage of the Sage CRM collateral, and demonstrating the standard Sage CRM features. For the first module, these are the topics that we will be covering. Each topic contains information to help build competence and confidence for people within marketing, sales, and implementation roles. Once you have completed each topic, and thus the module, you will understand the role that customer relationship management concepts play within a business, how to knowledgeably speak about and demonstrate competence in the translation of CRM capabilities to any business, and how to successfully articulate the Sage CRM value proposition. This topic contains information specifically on how to articulate the value of CRM to a business. Once you've completed this topic, you should move on to the further topics in order to complete the module. So let's move on. Welcome to this, how to articulate the value of CRM to a business. Companies who are really successful at implementing CRM actually begin by taking a hard look at their internal business practices. These companies figure out early on that CRM isn't just a system, it's a strategy, a business strategy. Our job as trusted advisors, be that employees or partner employees, is to get under the skin of the business, to figure out how they work in acquiring new customers, selling processes, maybe goods or services, and then supporting these customers. While many potential buyers of Sage CRM product may know about their business and potentially that how they could do it better with a CRM system, they do not know how Sage CRM itself could help them out. So it's our job to help them understand the value of a company-wide CRM philosophy, to help them really understand and look at their business through the eyes of a customer, and maintain or help them believe that running a customer-focused or customer-centric business is the way to build loyalty that will build and keep a customer base through good times and bad. So here's a tip to remember. The first rule around CRM is don't talk CRM as an acronym. CRM really isn't a new product category with generic features. It's ballooned really to include a whole host of technologies and applications, usually, but not always, built around the pillars of sales, marketing, and customer service. Nowadays, the wide range of packages, features, add-ons, and deployment options can be quite overwhelming for a buyer or a business owner. So if your customer or you are not comfortable using the term CRM, then don't be limited by it. Take control of the conversation by talking more generally about the challenges, the opportunities that face a business, how their processes currently work, and what impacts their customers, good and bad. The best partners, the best employees, in my experience, immediately understand how these key needs can translate into value and then be delivered by a CRM project, and replay that back in a conversation and, importantly, as part of any demonstration. We need to make the case for how CRM is different from basic contact management. CRM goes beyond giving just sales and marketing and customer service. A way to begin this discussion is maybe to get inside a business you plan on talking with. I appreciate that might seem like stating the obvious, but even in this present day, we can all be guilty of wanting to show the features of the product without stopping to ask the questions about the customer's business. This is especially a problem when some of our customers we talk to are maybe coming from a world of spreadsheets, Outlook contact folders, maybe even just paper-based with filing cabinets. To begin showing or talking and the wealth of features that CRM can offer out of the box without stopping to consider the customer's business can be bewildering at best and off-putting at worst. Let's kick off by thinking about how people involved in generating business, wherever it comes about, start by looking at these sorts of need statements you see on the screen and turn them into open sales-type questions. These statements from these sorts of people or departments come about due to challenges or business pains in collating data about potential buyers, knowing what to say to whom, and measuring the success of marketing-type activities. The challenge now is to take these typical expressed pains into questions to probe deeper. What are the specific business problems they're trying to solve, and what ultimately would be the business benefit of solving them? And as I referred to in the previous topic, how to then make those into measurable, quantifiable objectives. If you can slice 10% off the marketing budget, if you can bring a marketing customer faster into a business, what does that actually mean to a customer in terms of increasing revenue, avoiding cost, or improving service? Let's look at another functional area, the selling activity of any business. Now, the actual term sales or selling may not be used in a business, so be sensitive and use the correct phraseology, the correct term that the actual customer you're speaking to uses. Some of them may not think they sell. However, in my experience, in most all businesses, there is some method of bringing customers on board, whether it's called selling or not, and despite how they might phrase it. So focus on asking questions about how new customers are brought on board, or how goods and services are sold to existing customers. Remember, perhaps keep these 3 ideas in your head as you ask the questions about the customer's business: problems, solutions, and benefits. As you question, focus on specifics. What are the business problems you're trying to solve? What are the business solutions available? And of course, the underlying technology from us. And what ultimately will the business benefits be? A simple example could be a sales rep visiting a customer, unable to apply that one-off discount that they're asking for, because the process inside a business doesn't allow for it. In fact, it may be quite manual. It might be placing a phone call to the credit control department, and they have to raise a special purchase order, which has to be signed and then faxed or put on an email. It takes time, and of course that leads to inefficiencies, sometimes a bad customer experience. The solution should be first describe, well, what would an ideal process look like, and explore that with your customer before thinking about the technology, and then get into discussions around how the automation might work. And that's why it's critically important to understand the problems from the customer's perspective first. Let's look at another functional area, looking after customers post-sale. For some customers, for some companies, this is a traditional break-fix model. The part is broken, we need to fix it. And that potentially is, by some businesses, treated as a necessary evil, sometimes as a cost center. However, in other companies, particularly in present day, where customer centricity is very much the competitive advantage, it's about proactive customer service, following up on deliveries, checking in on a regular basis to see that everything is okay. And sometimes those service representatives that make those calls are actually a very powerful sales force. So again, remember, keep those 3 ideas in your head as you ask questions: problems, solutions, benefits. Focus on specifics. What are the business problems we're trying to solve? And what are the business solutions available with the underpinning technology? And ultimately, what's the measurable benefit? In this case, as we're looking at supporting customers on the screen here, asking questions about the strategy for running a service function is a good place to start. How can we help them make money, so drive revenue or increase revenue, save money in the way that service is delivered, or indeed improve the service itself? It's our 6-letter mnemonic again, IRACIS. Increase revenue, avoid cost, or improve service. I'd also advise you to speak as early as possible in the sales cycle, to start talking, thinking, asking questions in terms of measurable terms. We'll talk more about this in later topics, but you need, ideally, to get as much challenge and benefit clearly outlined as early as possible to make such a compelling story emerge as soon as you can. In our example on the screen here, drill down a little more. Start by asking, what does hard to service, our first paragraph on the screen there, actually mean? Ask for an example. Perhaps calls from customers take 30% longer because the person who takes the call from the customer needs to hunt through emails and hunt through Outlook folders and maybe look up filing cabinets. What does that 30% longer actually mean in cost terms? Is that 20 minutes per call at an average salary of, say, $30 an hour? So how many calls are taken like that a week? What does that add up to every year? Not to mention the potential brand value, brand damage to the customer who thinks that the company they're speaking to just hasn't got their act together. These measurable questions will go to form your beginnings of an internal business case that you can present back to the customer, either informally as a conversation or formally as a proposal, and let you then build a really strong return on investment story as soon as possible. Finally, never forget that who pays for the Sage CRM software and implementation? It's usually the owner-manager. And for them, they have that top-level view in mind. How is the company performing against targets? Whether they're stated out loud or whether they're internalized. Again, remember, keep those 3 ideas in your head as you ask the questions. Problems, solutions, benefits. Using and viewing the example statements we have on this slide, turn them into open questions. For example, from the top down, ask how they monitor the status of a business. What are the metrics? How do they get created? How long does that take to create the metrics? Are you missing things? Would there be other metrics that would be very useful? What challenges come about in making sure that data is both valid, regularly available, and easy to consume? There are many ways of asking these questions, and it's about focusing down on your business, keeping the idea of problem, solutions, benefits in your head, and speaking in measurable terms as early as possible. By way of closing this topic, it's worth reflecting on why open questions, focusing on problems and talking measurable benefits, is so important. It's well recognized in other industries and in our own sales analysis from Sage operating companies around the world that one of the top challenges faced by partners and employees selling Sage CRM is a sales process that ends in no decision. It's not a loss because of price. It's not a loss because of competition. It's a loss because the customer just says, I won't do anything about it. It's not that important to me. To get around this obstacle, we must focus on measurable benefits, talking in terms of return on investment, as the tool to drive a decision, one way or the other, from the customer. We need to understand that buyers can be incapable of making a decision. And we must work to get past that obstacle as early as possible in the sales cycle. You've now reached the end of the second topic of the first module of the sales accreditation. This topic contained information specifically on how to articulate the value of CRM to a business. You should now move on to the further topics in order to complete this module.